So, we escaped the clutches of Andrew Ryan and have made it to the next level. This is the first true level, and you'll be able to return to here later in the game. This is the Medical Pavilion, and slowly but surely as we go through these first 3 levels, they're going to introduce all the gameplay mechanics to us. They're going to withheld some of the gameplay mechanics from us in this level, though, but they are going to introduce a few, like the vending machines. That's how we acquire our consumables that we don't find just lying around in loot. And it's also going to introduce the hacking mechanic, those security bots we saw floating around earlier shooting at stuff, which I don't know how that technology exists right now to have automatic, motion sensing little helicopter things with drone guns in the 50s, but we'll go with it. It's fiction. Science fiction for that matter. So, the hacking, what the hacking will do is you can use the hacking to take control of the security bots, which is really easy to do. Or you can use it to hack vending machines and make the prices cheaper, which is essential in making to where the things you want to get are affordable. So I'll be hacking pretty much everything that we can hack in the game, similar to in Deus Ex, where hacking just makes everything so much easier, so it's worth investing the time in actually doing it. Now, as far as comparing the hacking system in both games goes, the hacking is easier it's easier in this game, but it takes longer. So, I'll show a few hacks, because there's many different styles of hacks, and basically what you have to do is line up the pipes and guide the stream to the end there. And I'll be showing off a few different scenarios because the pattern varies depending on what type of machine you're hacking. The first stream, the circus of values basically sells your basic consumables like health kits and Eve hypos, and some basic ammo types, but more on that a little bit later. And hacking, like I said, makes the prices cheaper. So, I'll be showing off a few different hacks, but for the most part I'm going to be editing out all the hacking in this game because it takes a really long time. And to be honest, even though the hacking system was annoying the first time I played through Deus Ex, I still kind of prefer that. I mean, it was so short that I was able to show it on screen. So, but the way that they improved the hacking in Bioshock 2 kind of makes it superfluous anyway. So I guess we can't get through the next level yet. We're locked out, so we gotta find the security override. And that means getting to the big boss of this level, and we get a new weapon here. It's a Thompson 1921 submachine gun. It's not the M1 version, the World War II version. It's the one that the boys would use to do business with, so to speak. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it's got that ridiculously huge drum magazine, and it's got the frontal grip, so it's quite nice for that reason. And it's pretty powerful as a nice sound effect, and we can aim down the iron sights. But eventually, our reticle will appear over the iron sights anyway, which makes it pointless. I don't know why they designed it like this, but it's easier to aim in this game than it is in Deus Ex because the reticle is a circle and not that silly open cross thing that makes it difficult to pinpoint your shots, although I suppose that's a lot more realistic. But we don't get laser sights in this game, because that would just be a ridiculous stretch of this world's technology. But it's quite nice, as you can see. Yes, the charging handle is on that side in this variant, I believe, but that doesn't make this reload any less awkward. But needless to say, the weapon is portrayed fairly accurately, even though the barrel looks a little bit funky. I think it actually does have 40 rounds in the actual drum mag. They're all coiled up in there in a very awkward manner. It can still take a straight clip, but not the other way around. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about the vending machines and the inventory system in this game, the fact of the matter is like I was saying before, you consume anything you touch, so all your money is collected instantly and all of your consumables are collected instantly, but the vending machines only provide you with the ability to buy items. They do not provide you with the ability to sell loot. That's because there is no loot that can be sold. There's no trash loot that can be sold for money, and you can't sell your excess weapons because they won't clog up your inventory because you don't have any inventory. And so for that reason, there's no way to profit any money off of selling things, which means that the only way to get money is to loot things and kill more splicers. As a result, the levels have infinitely respawning enemies. That just has to do with the way the levels are designed. And the levels are sort of an enclosed non-linear level where you can't really take multiple paths, but it's just sort of open to do whatever you want within the enclosed space, if that makes any sense, aside from the core objectives. Ooh, that's creepy. That's a side effect of the plasmids, I guess. That has to do with Diane McClintock's story, I believe. You'll hear a lot of Diane McClintock's audio diaries during this level when she talks about Steinman and his operations. So that's the guy we're going to go after here. He's basically the... every level has a character that we're trying to go after until later in the game, where it just becomes Andrew Ryan. But and these characters are actually really fascinating. Like, they all have their sort of elements of insanity to them that just makes them interesting. It's like they're insane in ways that they're not insane, really. It's sort of like the whole moral confliction thing in Deus Ex, but I think I'll get more about the choice system and why I think that the moral confliction is not as good in this game later on. But I'm gonna go ahead and hack this turret here. This is an auto turret, which again I don't know how they have the technology to do this. But the thing about this is you can disable, as Atlas said, you can disable them with the electroball and then go and hack them. The only problem is with the turrets is they only seem to want to be hackable while they're disabled. As soon as they prop back up again, which can be after a stupidly short time later on in the game, they go right back to shooting you, and you can't hack them until you disable them again. But we'll have better ways of doing that later in the game. Way better ways. But there's another one over here, so we're going to go ahead and get that one. As you can see, since I had to reload my Eve Hypo, it wouldn't let me hack the damn thing. So, anyway, as I was saying, the fact of the matter is the enemies in this game will spawn infinitely throughout the level. But if you stand in one place, you will not be continuously barraged with enemies over and over again. They spawn at fixed locations, and they only spawn a certain many at a time. And so it's more like the enemies in, say, a Far Cry game, or like in the new Wolfenstein remake in the overworld. They sort of only spawn in a certain amount of enemies in a certain fixed locations at a certain time. And the enemies are random, and this applies to Big Daddies as well. Big Daddies there'll only be one Big Daddy in one place at a time, but he'll basically spawn in a certain area and then follow a fixed path, and you'll be able to find them that way. But I'll go more in detail about that when we actually encounter some more Big Daddies of our own volition, instead of having them be a scripted spawn. But anyway, we got an alternate ammo type here. This is another we have weapon upgrades, but we don't really have that many like customization methods with weapons. But we do have alternate ammo types, and they're all really good, and they have their certain functionality. So the one we just got was an armor-piercing pistol round. That is a weapon type that will do additional damage to machines such as security bots and turrets and Big Daddies. And now Andrew Ryan is going to go on about the vending machines being hacked as we're hacking them, so we can already see why he doesn't like us. But to elaborate a little bit more on the hacking here, those red flashing tiles there will cause an overload, which will damage you significantly if you fail the hack. You'll get damage when you fail the hack anyway, but it's nothing you really need to worry about. I think I've showed off enough of these hacks where you guys get the idea now, and when you play yourself, there's a tutorial on it. But there's also other tiles that have like little alarm clock things on the inside that if you hit one of those tiles, then it will set off an alarm. And I'll talk more about alarms when we actually see a security camera. So there's an ammo vending machine there. It's an ammo bandito. It has some alternate ammo types, including some anti-personnel auto rounds, which are for the machine gun, or the submachine gun, and would technically do additional damage to splicers. So we'll pick up some of those later, so I don't want to waste money on them because they're very expensive at this point. So as I've said before, the iron sight is nice for the Thompson, but it's not all that nice for the pistol because you can hit the enemies fairly accurately in the head with the regular reticle anyways. So the fact that it's a circle, like I said, makes the aiming a lot better than in Deus Ex. Although like I said, the aiming is very finicky in both games, and I still say that the controls are good, but not as good as they would be on the PC. Now, I have a new enemy type here. It's a Nitro Splicer. He's basically a guy who runs around with a box full of grenades. I'm not making this up, and he just tosses them at us. They're homemade, like, hand grenades, or Molotov cocktails, depending on the type. And you also can drop smoke bombs. We'll see some more of those guys later. But right now they're actually quite tough. They can take a lot of damage. So as Atlas is about to tell us, there's a security camera over here. It has a red beam that will turn white if it spots you, and it'll set off an alarm. And while the alarm is going, it's sort of like in Metal Gear Solid, where you can physically see it ticking down. There's also an augmentation that unlocks that in Deus Ex as well. There's me editing out the hacking there. When you hack it, it turns green, and when an enemy is spotted by the camera, it'll set off an alarm, and the alarm will be friendly to where the sentry bots will come and attack the enemies. So that makes it very nice. We get a physical tonic here, which is basically our augmentations in this game, to where we can equip a series of these genetic enhancers that will give us certain abilities. They're passive abilities. They're not like the plasmids. Plasmids are active abilities. Gene tonics are passive abilities. And there's several different categories of tonics and several different ones in each category, and we'll be going over there when we actually get some good ones. What we just got now gives us a health boost whenever we successfully do a hack. Speaking of plasmids, we just picked up a new one. It's the Incinerate. It catches things on fire. So, the game is going to give us a perfect opportunity to demonstrate that. Yeah. So Atlas is going to elaborate on something here that that's not relevant for until much later in the game. So yeah, that's his explanation for why all these random rogue splicers that have their own agenda are even bothering to follow Andrew Ryan's lead. But and I suppose that is relevant information, because that would be a bit of a plot hole if that wasn't addressed. But at the same time, it's like that will not be that was a pretty random moment for him to tell us that, and that will not be relevant until much later in the game, like I said. So anyway, security cameras. You definitely want to have every security camera you see hacked and on your side. I can knock that out, but there's nothing in there I want to get. Because you'll be backtracking through multiple areas several times, perhaps. And if you do so... Oh, I got an alternate ammo type for the shotgun there, which we'll be using later when we actually get the shotgun. If you go through all these areas and enemies are spawning within those areas, it'll set off the friendly alarms and have security bots running all over the place. So it's just generally a good idea. Now, I demonstrated the Incinerate there by melting the ice. It can, like I said, it can set things on fire, it can melt ice, it can ignite gasoline, it can ignite explosive barrels. The fire status basically causes enemies to, like I said, it causes them to flee, causes them to drain health, it causes them to become more susceptible to damage. It's just overall a really good thing to have, but some enemies will be immune to it. There's a random coffin over here with a random code written down next to it. Let's go ahead and use that code on this keypad over here. This feature will be used a few times, also similar to Deus Ex. I'm encountering more similarities than I even remembered. But, yeah, we can only hold a max of 9 Eve Hypos and health kits, but we can go ahead and consume ours right there. We can press the reload button while we have the plasmid out and use it. But, speaking of what I said before about the aiming being better if you're playing it on PC, there are good runs of the PC. There's plenty of good runs of the PC version out there if you wanted to see how it looks on a good quality machine. I believe Michael did one recently. As soon as I was getting ready to do it, he beat me to the punch. And his definitely shows off a game on a recent machine. So you'll get to see what it's like on the PC there. One thing that he mentioned that I didn't realize was that on the PC version, the way the weapons and plasmids are hotkeyed, the weapons are hotkeyed on the number keys, and the plasmids are hotkeyed on the F number keys right above it. So that's actually a really good idea. The only problem is when you switch from alternate ammo types with the mouse wheel, which means me with my sensitive touchpad mouse wheel scroll thing on my Mac mouse would make this game damn near obnoxious to play. Look at that water effect, it's so great. That's the Unreal Engine for you. So, yeah, did I mention that this game is creepy? Really creepy. If not, I don't need to. Anyway, in this incredibly dark room, there's a new engineering tonic. This one will help us decrease the difficulty of hacking security objects, so that's pretty nice. Where did that guy go? Holy crap! Quickly, let's jump on a sink and then zap him with the electric bolt, because he's going to walk straight into the water, because that's a great idea, isn't it? Yeah, always be sure to take advantage of your surroundings like that. For some reason, he's going to be sucked towards the wall. That's the dead people zone, I guess.